Hi. I haven't done much lately. It was a tough summer last summer. A lot of things happened, a lot of things got in the way, a lot of situations I'll go into later, but I didn't really get anywhere. But one of the things that I did get was this thing. I got a really good deal on it. It needed some rehab. I rehabbed it. I got rid of all the other table saws. Yes, all the other table saws. And I need to build something with this. I've been really excited to do something, but I haven't had a chance. There's a lot of organization to do because of the things that went on and all the additional things that I got, tools and things that I got. But I need to build something. I need to build something with this. I really want to use this saw. I've done just like test cuts to calibrate it, make sure it was all working, but I haven't built anything. And I'm pretty excited. I'm really looking forward to doing this. And one of the things that we need to build is a headboard for one of the bedrooms that we don't have a headboard for. We put a double bed in there. We had a frame, but we didn't have a headboard for it. And we're kind of going with a theme in that room. So I'm going to build a headboard that matches the tables that go next to it, or that are next to it. And they're not really tables, they're kind of a bench. I'll put a picture up here of the theme of it, and I'm going to try to build something that models after that. It's been a long time since I've built anything. I think the last thing I built was the raised beds and maybe some mallets. And I haven't done much of anything since then because of, things. So I'm going to get to play with the saw today. I kind of like building things out of less than ideal lumber a lot of the times. And the little end tables that I'm matching were no exception. They were built out of 2x4s. I've built a lot of things out of just dimensional construction lumber, and these are no exceptions. So my wife and I, we went to our local big box store and we dug through their tubifers to find the ones with the most rift cut grain that we could find. I had a little trouble finding a 2x6 that didn't have much, but that's not going to be all that important. So we got some of the best grained 2x4s that we could find at our local store, and we're going to see how that works out. I'm not usually accused of planning much. I might draw pictures of things that I want to do to make sure I know what I'm doing. But this time, I actually wrote up a list of things that I got to do, the sequence that I need to do them in, and what I need to do to each part. We'll see if this helps. It's new territory for me. I need to pick the best for two of the specific parts that people will see, the top rail and the sides of I call them the stiles. And I picked these two because they seem to have good grain and the knots and things aren't in places that are going to cause me too much trouble, I hope. $23 3/4. Everybody hates my radial arm saw. I love my radial arm saw. This is a 70s model. My dad had one, still has one. Kind of grew up building things around it, and I like them. And why do I like this radial arm saw? It's square. So all of that was so that I could make it kind of square. These are 2 15/16, right on the money. And here's the fun part. I've never had anything like this before. 2 15/16. So I really don't have to do the fiddly measure the blade to the fence. This one's accurate. That's really cool. So this is a cut I'm not particularly excited to make. I need to slice these things in half. So that's a kind of a full height cut and narrow. I've done it before. It's just not a lot of fun to make. We'll see how it goes. So that worked out pretty well at these things that are all about 5/8 of an inch thick. See how well they came. Yep. Well, it's not a lot of fun. It worked pretty well. I think the blade needs to be sharpened or replaced. It's clean. I cleaned it, but I don't think it's all that sharp. So anyhow, that's like 16 of those things that are all going to be part of the headboard. So this is going to be the top rail. And all those panels, well, all those parts are going to make a panel that sets in it like that. Which means I need to put a dado, technically a groove, right down the middle of this thing. Not sure how I'm going to do that. Probably going to use my router. So putting the mortise here in the end worked pretty well. I kind of like this little palm router. So now I'm going to try to put a groove all the way down the end of it, or the length of it. I put this guide on it and set this so that it's going to be on the correct side, and see if I can make a groove all the way along. I guess it's a little shallow. I need to add some distance to it. Ultimately, it's going to have to be a 1/2 inch deep. So we'll give it a shot. We'll see how it works. So that went okay. But I think I'm traveling the wrong direction. I've had this problem before, that I can never remember which way I need to go. Because a couple times it walked away from me and made it, the groove not so good. I think I'll figure this out. All right, so I got to mortise this out for a 2x6 and a 2x4. I'm going to use my router again. That's been going pretty well, so I'll see how this goes. So ultimately I have to get down to 3/4 of an inch. That's only about 1/4 of an inch. And I'll freehand the inside, but not those lines. So we'll see how this goes. Okay, now I got to reposition it. Well, it's kind of a mess, but I think it worked out okay. Had a little bit of trouble. You might have seen a little divot right there. That's a little bit of a problem when you're using a small router. Maybe I should put a larger plate on it so that it can span the bigger distance that I'm dealing with, but it went okay. Now I got to do another one. And I got to run a groove right down the middle of this thing. We'll see how that goes. So I haven't been very faithful at doing the video from making this bed. So I think probably the last thing you saw of the building of it was me routing out the notches and the things necessary to make it. I didn't record the sanding. I didn't record the frustrating assembly. I didn't record a lot of the things that I probably intended to. It didn't work. I was really enjoying just getting the build done and working towards it to get it completed. And here it is completed. I've shown you some pictures of it separate, before finish and after finish. Well, here it is all assembled. When I talked about needing to match the headboard style to a couple of stools or end tables, that's what these are. This is T-Rex, but they match this, and it's all made out of construction grade lumber. I think it turned out pretty good. The rest of my family thinks it's turned out pretty good. I had a little bit of trouble with finish. I said, you know, I'm just going to do a spray poly. And one of the nozzles stuck open, which means I needed to finish the whole thing with the whole can. That didn't work out very well because while it was stuck open, it wasn't really functioning correctly, and it ended up spitting quite a bit. So I went back to a brush poly that's pretty thin, and there's 3 coats on it, but I think it's turned out exactly like we wanted. We wanted it to match this style. And there's another one over there. We wanted it to be rustic and we wanted it to be functional. So, oh, you wiggle when I do that. So we're pretty happy with it. A few things that I probably would do differently. The ratios aren't quite what I thought. You saw the challenges I had in cutting the 2x4s vertically in half to make these. I have a band saw. That would have been a much better tool to use to make these. I wanted them to be thinner so this thing wouldn't be too heavy. And that worked out pretty well. Being construction grade lumber, these pieces really cupped. after I cut them, and they cupped a lot more than I thought they would. So they're kind of glued together in sections. There's 4 panels, this to here. Well, actually this one's 5. I guess there's 5 panels in each one of them. And then getting them all to fit in the slots that I built for them was a challenge. But we're very happy with how it turned out. We're very happy with how it looks and what it does for the room. It makes it look a lot nicer to have a headboard, and it looks a lot more complete. I'll put the pillow back. This is my skill set as far as it goes to make a bed. But anyhow, I'm sorry I didn't get all of the steps videoed, but you saw kind of the beginning and a little bit of the middle and the end. So thank you for watching.